How's it going? Staying cool, I hope. I'm not. AC's running nonstop, it feels like. But yeah, it's July, so we're halfway through 2025. Can you believe I just said that? Halfway through 2025. Wow. So yeah, it's going to be another Teams day. We're going to talk about Teams events here on Cloudy County. This is our land grant themed community call where we talk about stuff in the M365 space and try to teach you new ways to do things, especially from a unique extension agent angle. I don't know why I struggled saying that. It's been a busy week. My brain's a little fried. Joe, you want to say something before I screw this up more? Gosh.
Well, no, I'm glad everybody's here. We are going to do our usual round of some what's new. Definitely some things that are afoot in the education space. There's some things that are rolling out that have rolled out for corporate a while ago that we're starting to see now. We're just going to touch briefly on those because they don't think they're hit everywhere yet. Just want to make sure you at least have maybe seen them before they hit. We'll surely dive into them deeper when next month or two. And then we're going to dive into it's been quite a while since we talked about Teams events, webinars, town halls, and there's been some great updates around those town halls in Teams. It's been a change from what was used to be called live events. So that service in Teams was undergoing a number of changes and feature parity. So we got some stuff I think Dwayne's got some good demos to kind of walk through webinar Teams and the live event changes into town halls. And some of those features that have been updated that make your job easier running an event and make the user experience better. So we'll talk about those. Looks like you got a recording going. We can just
I think so. I'm gonna try this too. Yeah, this
throw it a
goes.
poll. Yeah.
Just want to make
You
sure
run
we're
webinars.
helpful.
Yeah. Not necessarily in Teams, but you have to run a webinar. So yeah,
Yep.
that's a
I
good.
didn't say Teams. I just
Yep.
said webinar, like
Yep.
online meeting, big online meeting, public people. Just say
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay. So yes is leading the pack. So that's good. At least makes us feel relevant with what we're going to talk about. I've always say we don't want to be annoying. We want to tell you stuff that will help you. And so if you say, "Yeah, I do webinars," well, I hope that this will help you. And like Joe said, we're trying to give you a break from Copilot. I know it's hard because there's so many things changing like all the time. I think in a week there's feels like a bajillion things changed. So like get excited and we want to tell you about it, but at the same time we don't want to wear you out either. There's other stuff that we need to show you. So we're taking a break from Copilot this month.
But the change is tough because they are throwing it at us. So but we will I'll get started here with some what's new, go through some of these changes that have happened or are coming soon, and then we'll dive into our Teams events. So first thing we're going to talk about is who doesn't love emojis. Um, we love emojis for everything from channel names to even Teams names, if you wanted to. We do have we tested a team out there with just 3 bacon emojis. So we love emojis. Well, emojis for reactions have gotten a little bit of an upgrade now. You can use multiple emojis. What do you mean by that? Like, if you want to give something a thumbs up, but you also want to give it a laugh, you've got these ability now to throw a number of emojis on a chat message now. I'm thinking of some combinations you might throw out there. symbol for like fire and like a light bulb, like a hot idea, something like that. So just some little things to have some fun when you're liven up your chat a bit, or as they talk about here, maybe there's add some urgency, um, or there's the three don't hear, don't speak, don't see monkeys, some things like that. Just some crazy stuff you could do with your emojis out there. So
Expressing your complex emotions.
yes.
Teams is there for you.
Have some fun with that.
I gave you a bunch of reactions in the chat, Joe.
Oh, excellent. I see that. Um, the next thing is, I believe most you're probably going to have seen this now. We always like to talk about, like, how do I go see all the tools I have in the Microsoft 365 suite? How do I get there? What's the best way to get there? We have always been sending you to office.com. And this has changed. So this used to be a place where you'd go, you'd see a way to start generating documents, you'd see some lists of recent files, things you were working on. So that office.com kind of it's quite short URL. That's why it was I would say our favorite. It's changed. This is what that sends you to now. So this is sort of the home you're going to get for that Office experience online. Jumps you right into Copilot Chat. So this is something that we might spend some more time on this, but just wanted to show you, this experience and how to maybe find a few things that you used to look for. On the left-hand side, you're going to have apps. This is where you can go discover all the suite of tools that you're licensed for, get back in and find those items. You can still come in and pin these. So you can pin these items. They're going to end up on your list here of apps that you use often. So you still have that ability to do that and jump into those. Create is a place where we can jump in and start documents. We've got our ability to begin with templates. These are, so that is something we used to be able to do in the old site that's still there, but they're just changing this stuff around on us. Another place to go and look for those. You might find some other settings in different locations, our little profile and profile picture, profile icons now down in the lower left. So yeah, definitely some things moving around on us. They have surfaced our pages, so Copilot pages, chats that you've been working with in Copilot, you've saved into a loop component, a loop page, Copilot page, and you've got past conversations you can get to also still here. So all kind of combined and brought together. Next thing that we can do, talking about pages here and Copilot pages and these loop pages, is in Teams, rolling out now, is I can bring in Loop as a tab into a team. So Loop is our fast-paced, highly collaborative method for keeping notes, keeping track of lists. It's another way to do all that kind of stuff. Now I can bring it into a team. When I do that, what's great about that and simplifies how sharing Loop used to work is now the team is going to have access to that. So if I come into my channel here, project I'm working on, I can click our tab. And one of our options up here is add a new app. If you don't see it, you're going to be able to just type Loop, search for it, find Loop now. And we can start bringing in a Loop workspace that is access to the team connected into with this channel. So this is the title. I'm going to leave it the same as my channel. I'm going to create that.
This is a bigger deal than I think it looks like it is on the screen because when Loop first came out, we've talked about Loop in the past. you had to create like a wholly separate managed workspace to add people. And a lot of folks were like, but I already have a team and the team already has people in it. Like, why can't I just do it there? And Loop was its own independent like group that you had to add people to. So now you're trying to keep it in sync. And it just was kind of a headache. So this is really nice because this, like all that stuff that you see, like Joe, can you just hit the forward slash in there somewhere? Like you'll see all of these options of things that you can add. Maybe I don't know what's going on. I
Give me a
broke it.
second here to wake up.
But yeah, there's a way to add stuff.
There we
I
go.
don't, there we go. So you're gonna see all these like really cool, rich formatting capabilities. One of the favorites from a lot of people is a task list. It actually integrates with Planner, and if you create a task list here and assign it to somebody, they're gonna get bugged by the Planner thingy in Teams. Voting, all kinds of possibilities. So bringing this closer to where people are already doing teamwork, good move.
Yep.
Oh no, I have a
So yeah,
task.
this was a template I picked when I built this page. And just to give you an idea of what that can look like, this template was around project planning. So it just gives you an idea of what you might be able to use this for. And yeah, Dwayne, being able to now know who has access to this easily without managing all that is really, really helpful. And if in the Loop app, you're going to find this generated and created now. So I'm in Loop, can have its own app. I'm running, you can get that from the Microsoft Store. And I've got this Project 5 now showing up in my list of workspaces, so I can access it here also. Actually, sticking with some changes in Teams. This has been a while rolling out. We're getting this in education now. I am looking at my calendar in Teams, and I've got a new button that shows up for me, new calendar. I think the first time that you experience this, you're going to get a little walkthrough wizard says, "Hey, you've got new calendar." It'll switch you to that new calendar view. But this is what the classic calendar looks like. Give you an idea of what you can see on it right now. If I go to turn on new calendar, I'm going to get an experience that is closer to what you have in Outlook, new Outlook, Outlook for the web. Um, so what do I get with that? I've got some better filtering. I've got the ability to see other people's calendar. So this is a shared calendar I've got access to. I can bring events on that calendar into, you can see there's an event there, into my calendar view in Teams. So you've got more of a one calendar to rule them all now to see throughout Teams. There is another option under settings where you'll see how you can edit and modify and make changes to that new calendar. That is a nice handy feature. We've got some other things coming in. The ability to, if you're using where you're working, your workspace, where you're showing up for the day, you can say in the office or remote. Those are going to come through in your calendars now too. And for other people that you might be sharing that with in Teams. Let's see. Let's go back. That one is a meeting. Yeah, let's go stay in Teams. More changes in Teams. So this is starting to roll out also. I've recently had it hit in a couple tenants. I have a number of people who have it, some don't still have it. So it is starting to roll out. And this is a significant change in the way you're going to interact, potentially, if you want to choose this option, interact with your chats and your channels. So this is being called simplified collaboration. So typically you're going to have in Teams chats separate. I've got a little chat app, and I've got my Teams. I'm currently I'm in grid view, which we get in education. We know we can go into settings. I could change that to list view if I wanted to do that. We're used to being able to do something like this. That might be another view you use. Now you're going to start seeing the ability to combine your channels and your chats together. You will get pop-ups, you'll get notifications that this is available to you, and you can choose when that happens to select that and go with that. I'm just showing you where to make these setting changes. I've got this chats and channels set in settings. I have list. I'm going to go, instead of separate, viewing chats, teams, and channels separated, I'm going to hit combine now. Combined, now we see
Where'd your teams go, Joe?
I know. I'm well, that would be nice. I'm so many. Okay, that's great. Just a chats. So now I'm in just a chat icon. So click that chat icon. What does this end up looking like now? Now you can think of all the places you collaborate under one app, chat app. So you collaborate in a team, you collaborate in a channel, you collaborate in a chat, you collaborate in a group chat. All of those now are accessible in one scrolling list. I can also group these all together in different ways that I might want to. So I can group individual chats with people. I can label them. These are sections. These are called sections. I can create a new section if I want to, and kind of roll up your colleagues, roll up your direct reports, roll up the people you work with across university all the time, favorites if you want, and move these around. You can decide to move these around individually very easily. You can drag and drop into different locations where you want to put them. And you can,
so no more maximum of 15 favorites.
Yeah, that's great. That is great.
You can have favorites organized however you want. You can make your own groups.
Yep. If I've got a channel down here that I know I'm working with often, and I want to elevate it and bring it up and not have to, scroll. Let's say maybe this general channel down here is always at the bottom. I got to scroll through a long list of teams. I can bring this in and show this in one of my sections up top, bring that up and elevate that. Now that is up, that general channel is up in my favorites. I can just click on it and jump right into it. This is really great to be able to rearrange, make teams, the way you collaborate, closer to how you want to operate, and bring those channels, the chats you're always in, up into your view, easier to see.
Joe, can you collapse Super Duper?
Yep.
So just leave it collapsed, and I'm going to say hi. See how it went bold? So for those of you who might do the accordion thing, and you got like, maybe you're like, I love this, I'm going to make groups for everything. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I got a lot of groups and they take up a lot of space. You can shrink them down, collapse them, and if there's activity, the whole group goes bold. And then you can expand it, and then you'll see exactly where inside of that group it went bold. So
that's great.
That's the thing. And also a nice little accessibility feature on the screen here it's minor, but it's important. There's a dot next to it as well. So it's not just bold. There's a little dot too to tell you like, oh, that's a new thing. You need to go look at that. So yeah, Jackie, I see in the chat, it's weird at first. But once I switched to it and I took the time, like I sat there for like, on 20 or 30 minutes maybe, and I just organized everything and got it exactly the way I wanted it. If they took it away from me, I would like grab the nearest pitchfork and torch and march my way to Redmond and like riot. You know, like I want this feature. I could not have this now. Like I'm addicted to it. So
Yeah, I'm in, there's probably, let's say 10 teams where I pay attention to the general channel or a channel in those, and to scroll those often, this makes it easier to bring those together in a little section of things I just kind of want to keep my eye on. So yeah, I've only had it maybe less than a week, and really am enjoying this change. Glad to see it come through for EDU.
yeah,
It
question in the chat about when it's rolling out right now. So I think Joe is in preview, probably knowing Joe. Who knows what's earlier than preview? Joe likes
I do
to
have it in
live
my
dangerously.
standard. I do have it in my standard unpreviewed EDU tenant, so I am seeing it there.
But
So
isn't your team's client in public preview?
my team's client is, that is
See,
true.
this
So
guy,
maybe
this
maybe
guy.
not.
He lives
But
on he lives on the
I
bleeding edge.
have a few other people who've said it's hit. So I don't think they are, but we'll
Okay.
see.
Well, the
So
answer
yeah,
is it's
yeah.
rolling
It's
out
very
now.
soon. Very
And
soon.
not everybody, the way updates work for teams is they work in like waves or cohorts. So making up numbers, like 1,000 people in your university will get it. And then the next day, another 1,000 people will get it. It doesn't hit the entire university all at the same time. It hits waves of people all at the same time. So it's coming. And it'll notify you. Like you
Yep.
got a little pop-up, didn't you, Joe? It's like, hey, try
Yes.
the new,
Oh yeah. Yep.
whatever.
It'll let you
Yeah.
know. It'll
Yeah.
let you know. Just like the calendar will too. So you'll get some
I think
notifications.
the calendar is on by default. I
It
think it's
might just say,
like,
"Hey, we switched you to it."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
You will be using the new calendar. And if you don't like it, you have to make that choice. Honestly, I haven't met anybody that was like, I don't like the new calendar. Like it looks
yeah.
just like the Outlook calendar.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want consistency? So sorry, I went on a
Yeah,
rant
that's
there.
great. Let's see. We've got maybe one more to try to cover. We've got time here. Um, so this is, I think this is pretty amazing. This is going to come. Copilot Chat. So you all have access to Copilot Chat. That is the free service to generative AI.
That's what we did
That
our activity in last week
Yep, some good
or month. I
prompting
told you my brain's mushy.
exercise. Um, this tool is going to be brought into the Microsoft 365 apps. So they're going to bring, basically you're going to get a task pane, a little window pane showing
This is a
up.
big deal.
Yeah, in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and OneNote. That is going to be incorporating Copilot Chat, the free version chat, into your tools. Not ideal images, pictures here. Hopefully this is big enough to kind of give you an idea to see here of what you can expect with some experience there. Your side panel showing up, Copilot Chat here. It is going to have the similar uh, limitations of the free chat. So this isn't going to have access to all your files. It has access to the file that you've opened. So similar to if you're working with in Copilot Chat itself and you upload a file into your chat and start asking it questions, you can do that. They're just making it easier now to do that right inside of Word. It's not going to be able to edit your document for you, which the paid for version of Copilot can help you do, but you can summarize it, ask questions about it, cut, paste sections, ask for rewrites of that, but it's not going to do some editing for you. But that's going to be brought into, see if they've got, this is just kind of how to turn that on or off. But they're bringing those into, again, the suite of tools, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, OneNote, that if you're working with files inside of Copilot Chat, now you don't need to switch. You can just remain in the document where you're working. That saves you some time and brings that through. Yeah, this is, I mean, I think it's really, really amazing that they're making it so easy to access that generative AI right there inside of those apps.
That activity that we did last week, we uploaded a Word document and then asked Copilot to generate a summary of it. When this rolls out, you would just double click on the Word document and open it, and then you'd have Copilot right there, and you just ask whatever you want, summarize this meeting for me. And hopefully the prompt gallery and everything shows up in this interface as well. And so it's just going to put the ability to reason over data wherever you're currently working. So you don't have to pivot over to another app and upload a file and like switch your brain into a different mode. You just open the file and it's there if you need it. You can hit the Copilot button and collapse it if you don't need it. And if you really wanted to, Joe, can you scroll down a little bit? Like if you really wanted to, I don't know why anybody would want to do this. You could turn it off. If you're like, I don't want any Copilot for free in my apps. I don't like cool stuff that doesn't cost money. You could turn it off. So it's there. But yeah, this is expected by the end of July. So Joe and I are hoping that the August Cloudy County session will talk about this.
Yeah. I think we'll definitely probably have some deep diving back in some Copilot and those changes to Teams, kind of to go through a little bit deeper. So, looking forward to that. Yeah. I think that is got a few changes that we're going to maybe talk about, but I think we're going to leave those for the demonstrations that we're going to come up and do. So yeah, a little bit of change here. This will just kind of lead into this. So something coming that's going to be really nice for Microsoft Teams town halls is a town hall is really meant for a big one-way push, a lot of information out to lots of people with little interaction, just the ability maybe to do organized, moderated question and answers. And what's been really unique about Teams town halls, they're coming over from the equivalent of the older live events, was the ability to, as an organizer, choose the ability for captioning to be translated into multiple languages. So your attendees could get it in Portuguese and Spanish and German automatically. You could pick some. That technology, well, that takes a bit, and you usually would have, a 20-second delay basically of what you were saying live to what was going out to the audience. And if you were looking for and asking a question to Q&A, you'd have to kind of think about that during your presentation. Like, I'm going to ask this question. I want some answers to come through the Q&A app built in. They're going to be reducing that to ultra low latency. So they're still going to be offering the ability to do that translated closed captioning, but now you're going to have closer to real time without affecting your the way that you might run that Teams meeting, that town hall in the future. That's a nice feature coming. Town halls are also getting a DVR equivalent. So basically, if someone jumps into a town hall a little late, they can rewind, but you can basically rewind that town hall while it's going. Another nice feature for that kind of big push out to people for some large event. What, 10,000 up to 20,000 with a premium license that you get for Teams town halls with likely the license that you have now. So that should lead us into our deep dive to talk more about live Teams events, webinars, and some of the updates that are throughout those.
All right, so let's get some webinar stuff going on. I am going to do this from the new calendar in Teams. So I'll do the whole webinar scheduling thing from Teams. So I want to establish that. If you want to have a Teams event, you should schedule it in Teams. I know you can schedule things in Outlook, but to get to the templates for webinars and town halls and stuff, use the calendar in Teams. So once you're there and you open up Teams, you see new event. So normally if you're like, oh, I want to schedule a meeting right there, you just click on it and it would schedule it. Or if you're like, I want to take that time, you just drag your mouse on it and let go and it would start scheduling for that block. But if you wanted to schedule an event, that's different from a meeting. So that's different terminology. Events, very collaborative. We're having a meeting right now. Sorry, meetings, very collaborative. We're having a meeting right now. You can chat with us. You could all turn your cameras on and talk to us if you wanted to. Like there's nothing stopping you from doing it. Like you could if you wanted to. Events, however, a little different story. They're a little bit more structured. We want them managed. We want to have some guardrails in place and a certain flow to how the thing's going to go. Okay, well, that's when we switch over to doing an event. So if you hit the little drop down thingy, you're going to see, oops, let me do that again. You're going to see two events you can pick from: webinar, town hall. Let's talk about the difference. A webinar is a Teams meeting that has a registration built into it. So a regular meeting, you push out the invite. So you invite 500 people, so they all get an invite pushed to them. They have to RSVP to it. Yes, I want to come. No, I don't. You already had to know the 500 people. A webinar, you publish a registration link and you blast it out to your, county citizens or whoever it is you're trying to advertise this webinar to, post it on Facebook, however you do it. People would have to click it and then go sign up. And when they sign up, they get an invite. So it's a pull. They're pulling the invite from you. Webinars support 1,000 people. So that's how it is. Doesn't matter what kind of license you have. I guess I don't know, A3, I think you have to have. I can't remember. But regardless, webinars support 1,000 people. Webinars offer chat like we're having right now. Webinars technically would allow you to let somebody come on camera or come off mic and talk, but it's all turned off by default because in a larger event with 1,000 people, you probably don't want to see, I don't know, a guy driving down the road eating a Pop-Tart. Like that's not what you want to have on camera, right? So attendee cameras and mics and stuff are all disabled by default, but you have the option to turn them on. Town halls are a little different. Town halls are built to go way bigger or be way more structured. Like there's 5 of us and we're going to give a presentation to a whole lot of you, and there is no need for you to be on camera or on mic or anything like that. It's highly structured. So both of these are good. You don't necessarily need to make the decision on which one do I use based on how many people you think might show up. But if you think more than 1,000 people are in play, then you do need to use a town hall. Could you use a town hall for 400 people? Absolutely. That's not a problem. Joe and I, we've done that. We have picked a solution like this specifically because of how streamlined it would be. Let's talk about numbers for town halls. Town halls go to 10,000 people. If you have Teams Premium, which is, so we got to talk about things that cost money. Normally we tell you about stuff you already own, but we're going to give ourselves a pass on this one because it's $2 a month. So I'm not asking for like, giant investment. Like $2 a month, you get Teams Premium, you get advanced capabilities in the webinar, and it doubles your capacity of a town hall up to 20,000. And if you really needed to, you could call Microsoft and they could set it to 100,000. That's a lot for $2 a month. So I don't think there's any other products out there really that are going to say like, oh, you want to have a, 20,000 seat webinar style event for $2. Like, no, they're a lot more than that. So I'm going to focus on webinars because I think this might be what most people would want to look at first. But I did want to explain the difference between a webinar and a town hall because it matters. You have both. I encourage you to do exactly what I'm doing. I'm not going to actually have a webinar, but I'm going to go through the motions of scheduling one and join it just to see what it looks like. That doesn't cost you anything, just to see what happens, invite 5 friends and do a test run, figure out how this thing works. So from the drop down, I picked webinar. You are going to be in 2 different phases of the creation of your event. Phase 1 is I have to have a name and I have to have people who are coming. So people who are going to present. So in this case, we're going to make it like a super duper webinar. That's the name of our event. It is going to happen on today at 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And the description will show up to the people who register. So that's whatever you type in this box. And you can see it's pretty kind of elaborate. Like, you have some formatting capabilities here. It's not necessarily just text. So if you want to do a bulleted list and stuff like that, you can. So I'm going to say, come learn amazing things about Teams webinars. So that's the description of my event. I can't get to any of this other stuff yet until I actually make the meeting for the event. Like, nobody in the world knows it exists yet. But if you're going to have people come present, don't they need to know that they're coming to present? So you have to give them something to be able to join. So we're going to define a few different roles here. Co-organizer, they are going to have the same level of access to managing the event that you do. So if you need redundancy, if you are going to be doing a big event and you have another agent that's helping you, make them your co-organizer. Don't make everybody a co-organizer, just another body make them a co-organizer. So in this case, I'm going to make Worf my co-organizer. He's going to help me run this event. Now we talk about presenters. These are the people who are going to come in. They're going to share our screen or their screen, and they're going to talk. They're the subject matter experts, right? They're going to be the ones that talk to the audience about whatever the thing is. And you might have multiple presenters. You may also have a person who needs to have the same permissions as a presenter, but just for the sake of moderating the chat, stuff like that. They don't actually need to share their screen. We don't need them on display. They're just there to I don't know, mute people and answer questions or something like that. So anybody who's helping you run the event, you would put them in here as presenters. So Beverly, of course, my buddy Jean-Luc is going to come, and so is William. So those are my 3 presenters. Now there's a neat button here that's unique to webinars and town halls, and it's add an external presenter. So this might be somebody from outside of your organization. So I'm going to have to go grab this guy's email address. I can never remember what it is because it's a lot of stuff. Corey Gray. So there's Corey's email address. I don't know what that is, but it's a bunch of characters. He's not from my organization. And I'm going to punch in his full email address. So this could be somebody from an industry, somebody from another university, anybody who's from outside of your home M365 territory. What will happen here is that person will get a unique link. They get their own personal link to join this meeting. Joining the meeting through that link is going to get them into the call with all of the necessary permissions that they need. So if they're going to be a presenter, boom, they get in, they can bypass the lobby, they can share their screen, they can do all the stuff they need to do by using that link. Now, under event access, you have 2 options: internal, so your org, or public. Once you pick one of these, and you make your event, that's it. That's how it is. You can't convert it from one type to another. Attendee emailing. So there are multiple types of notifications that can be sent out as a part of a webinar. You all, I'm sure, have experienced this. You sign up for a webinar, something has to tell you that you signed up. Like, thank you for signing up. Here's your link. So those are notifications that get sent out as a part of the platform, the registration mechanism. If you don't want those on, well, I guess you can turn that off, I guess. Also allow sharing to social media. We got feedback from people. They were like, I like the registration page, but it has all these buttons on it for like post to Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and stuff. And we don't want people doing that. So we made an option here. You can turn those buttons off. If you do want that because you're trying to get as many people as you can into your event, well, boop, turn it on. And now there's going to be those standard social media buttons kind of show up. As we scroll down here a little bit, you're going to see some of those engagement settings I was talking about where, you know, we could give the attendees microphone access, but we're not going to do it automatically. So those are all three buttons there are toggled off. The first button is really interesting. The first button, and I'll show this live. I think I got Nestor's camera running here. You get to decide what the attendees can see. Everybody can see Joe right now. Joe has his camera on. Well, with this flipped on, I have to allow the audience to see Joe, even if he has his camera on. So I get to control what's on the stage. And so if we're going to transition over to a point of our webinar where Joe is going to interview Jean-Luc Picard, well, I flip a little button next to both of their cameras, and those are the only two cameras that the audience would see, regardless of however many other people in the presentation group have their camera on. That also works for sharing content, like sharing your screen. You have to select the toggle button to show it. So if you want to share your screen and you accidentally share, like, I don't know, the wrong window, and you shared your Outlook email box or something, which would, you know, give a whole bunch of private information away to people. We have a little bit of a safety net there for that. Like, you can look at it and you can say like, oh, okay, you need to do that again, Joe. Like, you just shared your mailbox, and like, oh, okay, now it's good. Then you flip the switch and then people can see it.
The yeah, that experience we've had before. So having
Yeah.
that ability to help your presenter make those right decisions on what they're sharing. Other thing, just to call out here is I think is really nice about these templates, event templates. This webinar is showing us by default, there's no mic for attendees. There's no camera for attendees. You know that you have what you would call more secure event, and it's just very easy to make sure that that is that way. So if there's no mic and no camera, someone joins this who's maybe not trying to do the best thing for you, you have very easy to see here that you're safe from those kind of things happening. So just, it's really slick that these templates are setting those options for you for what's best for a webinar.
Yeah, you don't want any surprises on a really big call that's designed to be like a professional delivery. We want as many guardrails up as possible, and then we'll loosen it if we need it. That would be my approach.
Yep.
Couple more buttons here. Q&A. So the chat can get unruly, right? Like, it can just be crazy, especially if imagine there's 1,000 people on the call. The chat could get wild. You can turn the chat off and you can use an app called Q&A. Q&A supports taking questions, and the questions can be moderated. So you can decide if the rest of the audience can see the question. So you could approve or dismiss the question. Because if we are being honest with ourselves, people use those question things to not ask questions sometimes. They use them to state an opinion. Or maybe it's like irrelevant or you know, who knows what. So that's nice. Green Room is on by default, and I love this thing. Green Room is a space that you enter where you can see the other presenters and they can see you, but the audience can't. it gives you an opportunity to make sure, like, mic check, can you hear me? Do you know how to share your screen? Do you know what your part is? Everybody comfortable? All right, we're good. Start the event. And then the audience can see you. So also when you end the event, it will put all the presenters back in the green room for a debrief. Right? It doesn't just abruptly hang up the call on 100% of the people. And if you had an event that was sensitive in nature, so Joe and I have done facilitation for like, relationship counseling stuff that was being done in you might not want to see your neighbor's name on the list of attendees or whatever, like, Bob, you're here. And then Bob's like, Dwayne, you're here. Like, it could be weird. So you turn on hide attendee names or attendee masking, and everybody just sees attendee. Like, that's all they see. Presenters will see names, but attendees won't be able to see each other.
You still get information in registration, though. It's
Yes.
just during the meeting. Yep.
Yeah, it's just during the meeting. It's to protect people from seeing each other's names. That's all it does. Now, once you get this set, you got to save and send. People got to know what the event is that they're speaking at and that they're going to be there. So I won't be able to edit any of these other things. So I got to do save and send. And once I do that,
that's setting up all
the
back end information that you can publish a site.
Yeah, that was fun. You'll see manage apps and meeting options. And in my case, I see sensitivity labels. So manage apps would let you decide, like, oh, I want to add polls or whatever kind of meeting app that you want to add to that. You would be able to do that through this interface eventually. Yeah. So, whoa, that's fun. Yeah. I don't know why it's freaking out. But you would be able to do that. We'll go back to event management. And meeting options pulls up all those same things that we were already looking at, but just a larger, more verbose view of it, so you can set all those settings. But we set most of them already through the webinar thingy. Okay, let's go right down the list. Presenter bios. These people will show up on the screen, on the registration screen. So you can put in, so like if Beverly is the speaker, I can upload like a picture of Beverly. I don't think I have a picture, but can I upload the bunny? Nope, I can't do that. Well, just imagine there's a picture. I can put in her name. She is from Starfleet. I can't click on anything. It's freaking out on me, Joe. I think that thing in the background was messing it up.
Holding on to it.
Try that. Okay, edit. Yeah, Starfleet. She's a commander. Here's her LinkedIn, her Twitter, and her bio. So whatever you put in here will show up on the registration page. Now, remember I said there's other people that might need presenter capabilities, but they don't necessarily need to like do anything for the event. Let's imagine that Jean-Luc and Riker are in that role. Well, I can click the three little dots and I can hide them. So they're still presenters as far as like their rights go, but they're not going to be on the screen as like a featured keynote speaker or something like that. And then our guest speaker, we have to define his name. So he's Corey Gray. He is from Contoso. He is Lord of Teams and www.microsoft.com. I think I have to do HTTPS on there. So there we go. Well, maybe Corey's going to kick things off. Okay, well, I just hover over Corey and grab him and move him up. And now I've changed the order that they show up on the registration page. The registration page supports some theming and graphics. This is really important because you want to maybe keep it on brand, develop your own thingy. If you go to change image and hover over, it says choose another image. It will give you the dimensions that are the most ideal for the banner. As well as the logo that's right there. And you can pick from these colors as the theme of your page. The branding matters in email announcements too, which I'll show you. Registration is here. You can cap the event. You could, with Teams Premium, you could even do manual approval or do a wait list. So if you can only take 100, 125 show up, you can waitlist the 25, and if one of the original 100 drops, it gets the most recent person, or the one who's been waiting the longest, gets added. And you can add additional custom questions on your registration page. So if you have to collect, do you need certain accommodations, you could do that here.
Great place to ask, like, do you have any questions for our speakers? You could put just a text box in there.
Yep. Attendee status will light up once the event actually happens. You'll see telemetry there for people. You'll get all those email triggers I talked about. And I said that the branding, theming, if you will, applies there too. So you get to modify these and tweak these and then do a preview of it and see like, oh, when someone registers, this is what the email will look like. So you can look at all that stuff in advance. You're going to get lots of reporting included with this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just publish the site. And once I publish it, I'll grab the link and I'll just drop it in our chat because, why not? Y'all can go see it. But you can go see it too. You can click view publish site. And if you haven't published it yet and it's in draft mode, you can make changes to it and then view the draft and then decide like, okay, now that looks like how I want it to look and then publish it. That's totally fine. I'm just in a hurry. So start the camera. We're going to get old Nestor here is going to get joined in. And Beverly is 2. And Corey has been invited. So here's what his external invite looks like. Hey, Corey, you've been invited to Super Duper Webinar as a guest speaker. Join event. He is allowed to bypass the lobby and come right in, even though he's from a completely different organization. So right now we're in that green room. Remember, I said the event hasn't started yet. So if there were attendees, I wouldn't be able to see them. I would have some idea of how many were waiting though. So you get some visibility there. And you can do chat, and that chat will, the people who are waiting for the event to start will see the chat, but they won't see you. This is part of the manage what attendees can see view where I'm going to say, hey, I want to pull Nestor on. I would have to flip the switch. So boop, there goes Nestor. Now he's in the box. People would be able to see him. Once I'm ready and I'm good, start meeting. This will auto start the recording and let everybody in. And boom, your webinar has begun. Play some music, do whatever, and kick things off. If Nestor decides to share part of his screen, so he wants to share like this window, see it says it's not visible yet. Nobody can see this because you got to hit the button. So even though I'm sharing my screen, nobody can see me yet. One of my colleagues, a co-pilot, if you will, of the webinar would need to flip this switch. Now it's in the box. They can't see anything unless it's in the box. Once we're done and we're like, cool, we did a great webinar, everybody. We want to debrief. So we'll end the event. Boom, hangs up on everybody, but it didn't hang up on all the presenters. All the presenters stay in the green room. So now you can debrief and talk about what went well, what you could have done differently, all that good stuff. And then you're done. Now you can end the meeting and that will hang up on everybody. And once the recording is finished, it will present itself here. You could publish the recording automatically, and the recording will be available on the registration page. And that was one of the triggers. Event recording available. So when you publish it, it makes it available on that page, and people can go back to the registration page. They'll get a link in their email, and they can just play it right there on the page. You can, of course, download it. It's just going to be a video in your OneDrive. Download it, publish it on YouTube or Vimeo or wherever you put video stuff. You can totally do that yourself. And yeah, previewing the email will work there once it's available. You get your registration reporting data now that something has happened. So you'll see like, oh, this many people viewed the page, this many people registered. You're going to get some telemetry like that. And then you're going to get the attendee report down here at the bottom, engagement report, we call it. So that was a speed run of webinars. So I just hit 3 o'clock. That was a lot of stuff. I don't have to jump off for another 30 minutes. So But we are going to end the recording because we don't want people to have to watch us for more than an hour usually. So speed run. I hope you saw some cool stuff. I know I talked really fast. You can go back and watch the recording on like half speed or something, or just ask us after the session is over. But I hope that you see that this is pretty cool. Like this is built right in. Everybody out there with A3 or higher has this. You already own it. The only thing
So,
that you may not own is the Teams Premium part. But like I said, EDU pays $2 a month per person, and you only need the person who scheduled the webinar to have Teams Premium to light up all the premium features.
and real
Like,
quick, Dwayne, the town hall, walking through the town hall, pretty much very similar to what you've
mhm.
done, minus the registration piece.
Yep, it's the same
So,
interface. There's just
yeah.
no sign up portal. You're gonna create the town hall, push out the link somehow, like internally to a mailing list or something like that. But yeah, it's the same kind of tech, but there's no chat, like there's no cameras, there's no mics from the audience. There's polls coming soon to that. Webinars are a little bit more app friendly right now for like polling and things like we did earlier. But yeah, if you need to go big or you need a really streamlined experience where nobody can do anything except the people who are speaking, like if the VP is going to talk or something, a town hall might be a really good option, right? You just want to make sure that event runs really, really, really well. Um, but yeah, crash course.
That's
And we
great.
didn't talk about Copilot that much. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope, like I
Especially
said,
the
I hope you learned
enhancements
something
you
new.
get with Teams Premium for that. So intelligent recap. So yes.
Yeah, I threw that in the I threw a link in the chat of a table that shows you all of the things that Teams Premium would turn on, and it is way more than just meetings and webinars. It's a whole lot of stuff. Some of it may not be applicable to your role, but even if like a few things are applicable to your role, I think it's probably worth looking at because yeah, it's affordable, I would say. Um, so, all right, I'm going to turn the recording off, but I'm not going to hang up. So if you do want to ask a question and unmute and talk to us, we'll still be here.